Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to use solvent in your animal portraits with colored pencils. Do we always have to use solvent? When we should use it, when we shouldn't? I'm going to explain all that in this video in detail. You can use solvent with both wax-based and oil-based colored pencils, but there are minor differences and I'm going to show you in this video. I listed all the materials I used in the description part, also all the colors I used for this portrait. My all fully narrated full-time videos are available on my Patreon, patreon.com/ecegürler. Let's draw our beautiful kitty cat. Before we start, I want to show you my materials. Wax-based Caran d'Ache Luminance pencil set of 76 and oil-based Faber-Castell Polychromos set of 24. I also used a masking fluid and I will explain why later. And as a solvent, I will use Zest-it, which has a very nice citrusy smell to it. First thing you need to know that you have to apply many layers of colored pencils before you apply your solvent. In the background, I want these different colors to blend in each other very nicely and create a blurry effect. Let me show you what happens if you apply solvent after just one layer. See, you can see many white tooths of the paper showing through. Not a nice look, is it? Before applying your second or third layer, you need to let your solvent dry. Otherwise, you might damage the paper and your pencil won't leave its pigment effectively in the tooth of the paper. How many layers do you need? I would say at least 3 if you want to get the best result. While applying your solvent, it is best when you do it in circular motions because this softens out the boundaries and creates a wonderful blur effect in the background. I'm trying to show you here how I created this pretty background by applying the solvent in circular motions. Because we want paper to handle solvent well, we need a thick paper. A watercolor or a pastel matte paper would do it, but this means you might have to apply more layers or more heavy applications than you normally do because the watercolor paper has larger tooth and it will show through. Solvent is a chemical and its fume can be toxic if you breathe it for a prolonged time. So make sure you store it well in a container with a lid. This is how I store mine in a plastic container. I add a cotton pad and I add splashes of the solvent, and each time I use this instead of dipping my whole brush into the bottle. Here you see that the first layer is finished. I was not super careful about my lines and I didn't add any details. While waiting for my solvent to dry, I will go ahead and draw the eyes. Because colored pencil drawing is very time consuming, I like to choose my colors before I start so that I know which pencil to go when. Here you see the chart that I prepared before I started drawing. The eyes in animal portraits are crucially important. Those are the first thing people look at, and if they are pretty, the audience will be won over. In order to draw realistic eyes, you need all the different colors that you see inside the eye. I used orange, burnt sienna, black, dark green, bright green, light blue, and bright yellow here. 7 colors for one single eye. How much solvent is too much? I realized that on white and gray areas, solvent didn't do a great job. It leaves this gray stain looking like grease stain. Let me show you 2 wrong ways and 1 recommended way to apply solvent. If you dip your brush fully into the bottle, don't drain it, you will get your paper too wet. And if you don't have enough solvent on your brush to break the oil or wax binder in your paint, then your paint won't blend well. But if you dip your brush into the solvent and then lightly touch a tissue to clean the excessive amount, then you will get the best result. Let's compare. The upper one had a grainy texture, and the one below with excessive amount of solvent created greasy texture and some gray spots. But this one created the best result, if you ask me. Now we know the amount of solvent to use to get the best result. With colored pencils, if you use burnishing method together with the solvent, then you will get the best results. If you don't know what the burnishing method is, let me show you how I made the nose. I added all these different colors on the nose: red, orange, pink, black, purple colors, and with the lighter shade of the pink, I went over those colors with a heavy application. This creates a more realistic look, and everything blends in so smoothly. Oil or wax-based pencils work best with solvent. Let's test it. On the left you see oil-based Faber-Castell, and on the right you see wax-based Caran d'Ache luminance pencils. I applied 3 layers for both, and I used 2 opposite directions while applying the pigment down to make sure I didn't leave any white spots. Now, let's apply our solvent. If you ask me, the result is the same. Solvent works the same way on both. What do you think? Share your opinion in the comments. Now, after burnishing, I wanted to see if solvent would still work, and it does. It tones down the vibrancy of the colors a little bit, but definitely it provides a smooth transition. I did the same thing in the eyes as well with my small number 3 brush. I blended everything gently with my brush and the solvent. For the black lines though, I just went over them. I didn't blend my black into the green areas, of course. Here comes the most labor-intensive work, adding the details. After applying 3 layers of coloring and blending with solvent, we are ready to make our cat look realistic. I think this part took maybe about 3 hours or so for me. We have to choose different colors to create contrast and variety in the fur. I had different tones of brown, orange, and yellow color here. And of course, some warm gray, silver gray, and white as well. By looking at the reference photo, I added all the fur details, focusing on the darkest areas first, then adding the lighter colors, because they tone down the darkest ones perfectly. Definitely we are following the direction of the fur and paying attention to the density of the fur as well. In adding the fur details, I found oil-based color pencils more helpful as they create a more realistic look. Also, you need to sharpen your pencils a lot while doing the fur, and I found oil pencils to last longer than wax-based pencils. I had to sharpen my Caran d'Ache pencils way more frequently than Faber-Castells. In drawing fur, X-Acto knife will be your best friend. With just applying the tip of it gently in the direction of the fur, you will get tiny details that you can't get with your pencil. But make sure that you don't cut through the paper, you're just scraping the uppermost surface to reveal the underlying layer. You will have some bits of paint coming out, and don't forget to brush them gently afterwards, because otherwise you run the risk of smudging them in your painting. In a little bit, I will show you how X-Acto knife saved me while doing this video. Stay tuned. Whiskers were so challenging. Guessing white colored pencil wasn't as opaque, I tried gel pen first. In the beginning, it worked well, but then this happened. No matter how hard I tried, the pen kept sliding on the paint. Then I tried pastel pencils. That didn't work either. Tried colored pencils. No, but then my new best friend X-Acto knife came into the picture and helped me a lot. When I paved the way with my knife, the white gel pen worked perfectly on that path. Well, not perfectly, but it worked. I used masking fluid here because I had a black fence and a blurry background behind it, and I wanted to color the fences later. Here, after I'm done with the background, I removed the masking fluid with the help of a toothbrush and started working on the fence. While working with your black, try to mix it with other colors to give it more dimension. Here I mixed it with indigo, for example, but also don't make the mistake I did. I worked on the background a little more after I had applied the black color. Big mistake, because the black wax got into my beautiful colors, so it was hard to fix afterwards. Finally, Solvent saves time in your colored pencil work, and it is a great way to create blurry backgrounds, but make sure that you store it in a safe place. You can find the fully narrated version of this video on my Patreon, patreon.com/ecegürler. If you have time, check out my Etsy shop. The link is in the description part. See you in my next video. Bye! Thanks a lot for watching this video. If you like my videos, please don't forget to subscribe and visit my website ecegürler.com. Stay with art and